whether Japan or the EU, we end up with a situation like we had with China, where they end up with 200% tariffs or 150% tariffs in the end. Where would we be then? Can you see this happening and is going down that road, Ginger Chapman?
Yes. Well, Mark, your other guest makes a very important point as far as what is Trump's strategy, what is his model. And we see some of this chaos is because Trump is trying to accomplish too many things through tariffs and sanctions as well. Trump is using this economic tariff sanctions as leverage to achieve his foreign policy goals. We see when he tries to wrap up opposition to China's Belt and Road. China's trying to create alternative overland trade routes. We see the opposition to the de-dollarization. Trump is threatening tariffs against countries that participate in the de-dollarization, the dollar as a reserve currency. This is directed specifically towards BRICS. And Trump is also wrapping up national security issues. For example, the 50% tariff on copper. He says that's tied to national security, defense. We use copper in many of our military and industrial applications. Also, the tariffs on pharmaceuticals from China. This is a very critical issue for the United States. We obtain most of our pharmaceuticals from China and India. So during the COVID emergency, we realized what a critical issue this is. But of course, using tariffs and sanctions to accomplish our foreign policy goals runs the risk of backfiring. As your other guest mentioned, the global economic ripples could actually undermine our trading and our trading partners and our allies. A very good example, your other guest mentioned Japan, and more specifically, the European NATO countries. Trump is pushing them to increase military spending to 5% of GDP. This will be unattainable for many of these countries, especially if these tariff wars begin to negatively impact their economies and their own government's discretionary spending. So the global implications of these trade wars, these tariff impositions, could be very far-reaching in ways that are beyond just economic, that can actually undermine the social welfare spending and well-being of other countries. So, and once again, Trump is engaging in this unilaterally. So this creates another risk for the United States in that Congress normally negotiates and ratifies our trade deals. So Trump could also be leaving a very large international legislative mess for whoever the next president is and for the next Congress. So Trump's imposition of these tariffs, the way he's imposing them unilaterally, and also the reasons for foreign policy goals in addition to our economic goals, this creates more chaos and more disorder. It muddies the waters by introducing foreign policy into what should be clean economic decisions. So this does have the potential to spiral out of control globally. And the only thing that is slowing the pace is really Donald Trump's his negotiating style, whether or not he extends any further deadlines, and really the responses of other countries as these letters begin going out.
And coming to you, Dr. Singer, let's talk about BRICS then, shall we? How might BRICS expansion serve as a viable alternative for developing economies that are being targeted by tariffs?
BRICS actually, it's making now like a huge transitions after Indonesia, joined, that group. So that group, that degree of diversity, it's pretty awesome, in terms of reflecting, or in terms of reflecting, like developing nations as adopted, their membership to expand, or to find new ways of what we call it a pragmatic strategy uh, towards that policy, particularly from United States coming on time with that threatening, or that level of threatening or threats for the tariffs level, which reached, of course, many of the member of BRICS, like China and India, and other regional power there. But for their economic and their improving their level of political ties and diplomatic ties, BRICS will help, of course, these guys to build like a block or a wall against that kind of tsunami is coming from United States. For countries like Indonesia and other countries in Africa and Asia and Latin America, yes, BRICS offer like many advantage, or many ways that they can really improve their economy. For first of all, like access to alternatives, financing, and this is very important and crucial for their countries, their developing goals, through the like institutions, build like the new development bank. But one of the major problems they need really to solve it is still making that huge obstacle for BRICS to be like an optimal solutions that they didn't find this other than the dollar. So still the dollar is dominant in terms of their transactions. So they need really to find a new currency can really be accepted among all of the countries inside the BRICS and outside the BRICS. But unfortunately, they didn't really reach to that point of making the dollar. So still the Western, uh, if United States, and if I can say the EU plus, they will lead and dominate, the lenders and the World Bank and all the international institutions. So this is one of the advantage and disadvantage that BRICS can really offer. Second, that create of that degree of independency. So most of these countries, they need really to have, I would say, flexibility in their trade, in their investment, and promoting, local currencies and the transactions. So this, of course, this is a great goal, but this is will not really be accepted easy from Washington and from Trump, because Trump sees that as kind of insulting, and United States will retaliate and increase that level of sanctions and interest rate. So of course, the United States will not really stay calm and just watching these guys, coming to replace the United States